ESO game director Nick Giacomini has released one of the biggest updates we have had all year. In a new message to the community, he addresses the recent changes at ZeniMax Online Studios, confirms that ESO is here to stay, explains why several major features are being delayed, and share what's still coming in 2026, including some exciting updates that I think a lot of players are going to appreciate. So let's break down the biggest announcements, what they mean for us as players, and whether this message should make us feel more confident about ESO's future. Ciao everyone, it's Val. Nick Giacomini has addressed the ESO community directly, and after reading his entire letter, I think there are a few major takeaways that deserve a closer look. Some of them are reassuring, some of them are disappointing. But overall, I think this message gives us a much clearer picture of where ESO is headed. So let's jump right into it. Nick begins by acknowledging the recent organizational changes at ZeniMax Online Studios and thanking the developers who helped build ESO over the years. I think that was the right way to start this conversation. Many players have been wondering what these changes mean for the future of the game, and instead of avoiding the topic, he addressed it directly. Then he said something I know a lot of players wanted to hear. ESO is here to stay. According to Nick, the team's mission hasn't changed. They're still committed to growing the Elder Scrolls Online and continuing to build the world that millions of players call home. Now, does that erase every concern? No. The studio has changed, and there are still plenty of questions that only time can answer. But hearing that commitment directly from the game director is definitely reassuring. One of my favorite parts of the letter is the team's new philosophy moving forward. Nick explains that trying to hit every previously announced deadline after the recent changes would mean sacrificing quality. Instead, they're choosing something I think most of us can appreciate: quality over deadlines. Personally, I think that's the right decision. Would I rather get content on time? Absolutely. But if the alternative is rushed, content with bugs or unfinished systems, I'd much rather wait a little longer and get something polished. At the end of the day, quality matters more than simply checking a date on a roadmap. Of course, that philosophy also comes with some disappointing news. Several major features have officially moved into 2027. Those include the Crimson Veiled Trial, which will introduce mounted combat, Update 52, the Gerald Pass PvP Zone, Skyrim Dynamic Encounters, Rhyme Gales, and the next phase of the class and combat refresh. I know a lot of players have been looking forward to those class updates, so I'm sure this is going to be one of the biggest disappointments from the letter. However, there is one important detail that I think it's worth mentioning. Nick says the team is already discussing interim improvements for classes that are still waiting for their full refresh. So while the complete overhaul has been delayed, we may still see class improvements before 2027. I actually think that's a smart compromise. Now let's talk about the good news. Even with those delays, the majority of the 2026 roadmap remains intact. Update 51 is only moving back by 1 week and still brings several major additions, including the Nowhere Vault, the new Rumors system, achievement pinning, a customizable HUD for keyboard players, hybridization improvements, antiquities improvements, transmute stations in Cyrodiil, and a variety of quality of life updates. We'll also have White Strike's Mayhem, the High Seas of Tamriel event, and the new Golden Pursuit campaign where players can earn up to 20 free crown crates. And here's one announcement I know a lot of PvP players are going to love. 3-sided battlegrounds are returning permanently with Update 51. I know many players have been asking for this, so I think that's one of the biggest wins from the entire roadmap. Season 2 also has some exciting additions. The headline feature is definitely solo dungeons. Moonhunter Keep and March of Sacrifices will both become fully playable solo, giving players another way to enjoy dungeons content without needing to form a group. Another announcement I really like is that Greymore and Markart will become free for everyone later this year. I think that's fantastic for new players because it opens up some great Elder Scrolls stories without requiring an additional purchase. Season 2 will also bring more Tamriel tone improvements, another Skyrim themed Golden Pursuit, and the return of seasonal favorites like the Witches Festival and the New Life Festival. So, while some of the headline features have moved into next year, there is still plenty of content planned for the rest of 2026. Another announcement that caught my attention is that ZeniMax Online Studios will be working more closely with Bethesda Game Studios. According to Nick, the two studios will share ideas and better align their efforts across the Elder Scrolls franchise while continuing to build ESO. He doesn't go into detail about what that collaboration will actually look like, but I think it's an interesting development and something worth keeping an eye on. Hopefully, it leads to even stronger storytelling and experiences for players across the Elder Scrolls universe. The letter finishes with a teaser that definitely caught my attention. It confirms that the team is already planning content for 2027 and beyond. Even more interesting, he mentions all new Skyrim experiences that have never been seen before in the Elder Scrolls Online. Now, we don't know exactly what that means yet. Could it be a new gameplay system, a new way to explore Skyrim, or something completely different? We simply don't know. But I always enjoy hearing developers talk about long-term plans because it shows they're looking beyond the next update and continuing to invest in the future of ESO. Overall, I came away from this letter feeling cautiously optimistic. No, I don't like seeing delays. I'm sure none of us do. But I also appreciate that Nick didn't make promises that the team might not be able to keep. He acknowledged the recent changes instead of pretending everything was business as usual. He explained why the roadmap needed to change. He reassured players that ESO isn't going anywhere. And he gave us a much clearer picture of what to expect over the next year and beyond. Now comes the hard part: delivering. The words in this letter are encouraging, but they're only the beginning. The real test will be whether the team can continue communicating openly and deliver the quality content they're promising. If they can do that, I think that they will rebuild a lot of confidence within the community. For me, this letter was a positive first step. Now, I'd love to hear from all of you. What was your biggest takeaway from Nick Giacomini's message? Are you okay with delaying major features if it means higher quality updates? And which upcoming features are you most excited about? Let me know down in the comments because I'd really like to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe for more ESO news, guides, and discussions, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss future updates. Thank you all so much for watching. Ciao everyone, and I will see you in the next one.